His
The
hair.
secret is no sleep for days.
No sleep for days. His
The
hair.
secret is no sleep for days.
No sleep for days. Oh, how do I manage this, Paul?
What's that?
Muting. Oh, I guess I just mute it on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to, if you're on, anyone who's on desktop, laptop, whatever, you can go to the YouTube page, to the live video, pop out the chat window. I have that up in the background if you want.
All right. All right. So we've got Kat and Haley in the waiting room who are joining us. And hello for everybody on YouTube who's watching or is watching the replay. This is our first live streamed cast to YouTube from Zoom for Poetry Open Mic. So we'll all do a little bit of an introduction in just a minute once everybody's in the room. Oh, I see Haley's kitty.
This is Jesse.
Hey, Jesse.
Whoa.
I'm trying to see how I can see how many people are watching, but I can't see how many. The two are watching now. I'm one of them. So here's
I'm
Tracy.
probably the other one.
I know there were a couple people who were gonna watch. So
Oh goodness, you're fat. Oh, jeez, look at this. She's
he's like my Gussie. My Gussie's a big one too. Tracy,
Hi.
you gorgeous. Hello. Hello. All right, so we have Anya and Christina who are still going to join us. So we're going to give everybody just a second. But again, for anybody who's on YouTube watching, this is our second Zoom open mic and the first one that we have streamed live to YouTube so that people could watch live or on the replay. And the way this is going to work is each of us has work that we're going to read and we'll go around the room and read up to 3 poems. I have a little bit of a lineup. Kat, did you get any submissions?
Yes, I have 3 poets that I'll be reading tonight.
Okay, good. I have 2.5 that I'm going to be reading.
2.5?
I have 2.
You have half of a poet?
I have half of a poet. Oh, okay. Hello, guys. Hello. So I see a couple of people in the YouTube chat. So that's good. All right. So I think, yeah, if everybody wants to go through and is comfortable doing a quick introduction of who you are, you can just say who you are on Instagram. You can say who you are in real life. I am Chris. I am Poetica Ex Machina. I am generally one of the hosts of these things. I started doing these a really long time ago. And Paul, that guy over there, and Kat, this girl down here, and I have been trying to figure out how to do this so that we can stream it out outside of Instagram for 2 years now. So this is our first sort of successful venture into doing that. So who wants to go next? Paul, why don't you introduce yourself next?
You already did. So there we go.
Come on, Paul.
What?
Paul is our producer.
Or something.
Paul, he's our producer and our tech guy. He's the genius who makes all this happen.
Producer Paul.
Thank you.
Kat, you want to go next?
I guess I'll go. I'm Kat. This is my cat, Echo. He is very needy. But I'm Kat, username Misguided Ivy on Instagram for my poetry. and I host open mics for, well, I have for a couple different feature pages right now. I'm currently hosting Monday night open mics for Yellow Penguin NYC, but Chris is really the one who got me started on all of this. I popped into one of her open mics early on in my Instagram poetry journey, and I was like, this is addictive. I'm doing this now. So, so yeah, I've been writing on and off my whole life, but the poetry thing has been, wow, about 3 years consistently, I'd say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next? Haley.
I'll go. Okay. Hi, I'm Haley. My Instagram name is BlackXRose1223. This is only like my third Zoom meeting with these guys, but you know, I love going to every single one because, you know, they're so supportive and they always cheer me on whenever I read poetry. And so I love coming to these Zoom meetings. And thank you guys for hosting it tonight. And I'm excited to see what happens.
Yay. Thank you for coming.
Yay.
All right, Oliver, you want to go? Oh, we can't hear you,
I'm
Oliver.
not getting audio for you.
We may have to have Priyanka go and come back to Oliver.
Yeah, it should have your settings down in the bottom left corner. At least that's where mine are.
Yeah, he shows that he's live mic'd, but it's just not working. So we'll give it a try. Hey, Priyanka, you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Priyanka. I am still a newbie since 2 years because I started writing a year back and then I stopped for another year and then I'm back again. So that is pretty much me.
And she's a wonderful poet.
We're very happy you're back.
Yes, very happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's try Tracy.
Hello, I'm Tracy, and I'm Tracy on Instagram as well. Chris is one of my really, really, really good friends, and I'm actually new to writing and new to poetry. So I've really enjoyed the time that I've been able to kind of sit with you guys and everything. So learning a ton. So thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, Oliver, let's see if your mic is working. Oh no, we had it. No.
That's weird.
Say something again. Nope, that's not coming through. This is like a typical conference call.
Right.
For those of us who have to sit in Zoom meetings all day, it's a typical conference call. So I do want to say, if anybody has any comments or questions on YouTube, please feel free to use the chat. We are monitoring the chat right now. So we're going to get started with poetry here in just a minute. And do I have any volunteers for anybody who wants to go first?
Before you start, I'm a little jealous. I'm going to ask what it is that you're drinking.
That is Leinenkugel Summer Shandy.
That's good.
Are you out of beer?
I'm not out of beer. I just didn't prep well. I was doing my makeup until like the last second before I came over here. So I might
go run right now.
I'm gonna run. I'll be right back.
Go run and get a beer. Everybody join in and drink.
I miss makeup.
You miss makeup?
It's too early to work for makeup, so I'm just kind of bad.
I understand. I do.
But
All
I'm
right.
gonna get my coffee though. Give me a
Go get
second.
your coffee. Go get your coffee. All right. Who wants to start tonight with a piece? Anybody just feeling like they want to go first? No? Okay, why don't I read one of our guest poets who submitted a piece, and we'll start there. And this is the poet Larry, _poet_Larry. So I'm gonna write that in the comments and we'll get all this down. We will. All right, so this is The Fault, Dear Brutus by the poet Larry. We were going to see Hamlet that night, and I had a tome of all Shakespeare's works that I had carried from high school, but I did not bother to brush myself up before the curtain was raised. And when I saw you that night and saw you talk to another beau you planned to see after the show, I became Lago, spreading lies throughout the land. I became Tybalt, attempting to return scorn. I allowed jealousy and evil to cause me to look upon my friend with the steady tide of silent rage. Oh, Polonius, it was odd that I found you the most compelling character that evening to properly absorb the advice you provided that evening, even if it was misguided. To thine own self be true. Up until now, there had been no jealousy or pettiness. Ours was a simple friendship, an exchange of smiles and hellos. She was a good person and tried to be one to her. I had never approached her with the idea that we were anything but friends. She had not asked me to surrender my ticket in favor of anyone else, but the mood was already spoiled. And now I thought I would deliver my own memorable quote as her beau approached the theater in his car to whisk her away. And I said to her in a perfect cadence, "Don't break too many hearts." And then, as if I had not done enough, I would leave her a message, reiterating my self-righteous rage, accusing her or reducing me to a eunuch for all the world to see, when it was nothing more than a second-rate leer, turning coincidence into madness. The friendship ended that night, never rekindled, and it stays with me, hopefully to be used as a lesson on how not to allow villainy to abscond with the night. But I still revisit the tragedy, forever an audience of one, Shakespeare's actual tome long abandoned, only a remembered quote that the fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm going to use the new Zoom thing that I just figured out in reactions and do this.
Oh.
There you
Oh,
go.
is that a
Oh, wow.
thing to do?
How do you do this? Oh,
There's a
okay.
little thing that says reactions.
Yeah, see, I got it.
There you go. Look at that. That was incredible, the poet Larry.
Yeah, I really like the use of the
Was it on the desktop?
What was that?
It's not on the phone. Oh, it is.
Found
Did
it.
you find it? There you go.
There you go. Yes. Yeah, I really like the use of familiar characters, but I like bringing it into current and making it personal. And I think we've all made errors such as that, where we've overstepped our boundaries and look back on it and go, that was. Wish I could have redone that one. So I definitely feel that, very relatable.
Tracy and I were just talking on the phone the other night, and I was telling her some of my Chris crazy, some of the Chris cray cray.
Yeah.
Some of those experiences.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
Never happened that way.
We've all got the cray cray.
So that was the poet Larry. So I'm so glad that you submitted that, Larry. That was fantastic. I'm so glad to have been able to read it. So who'd like to go now that we've broken that ice? Anybody have anything to read?
I can read some of the people that sent to me if someone else doesn't want to go first.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just going to go in order that they sent to me, and we can kind of volley back and forth. I think I got work from Dom first, Dominic.c.jr. Let's see here. I've got 3 pieces from him. So are we just going to go and read through what they sent us in one go, or are we going to go back and forth?
You can read everything that he submitted.
Okay, I think that would be a little easier. That way I don't get confused.
I think so.
What's been read and what hasn't. The first piece I have by Dominic is called Surfacing. We are slowly surfacing, coming into view. What form we take varies, depending on the angle and the wisdom of our witness. Yet once we rise, we will be named as celestial, with titles and texts with subtle shifts and wide arc, where everything is foreshadowed, nothing is arbitrary, and every nuance a necessity. How beautifully the heavens decay.
Wow.
How beautifully the heavens decay. I love that. Love it.
Dom always takes my breath away with his, I think we should snaps for that one. Snap, 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 snap. I think that was incredible.
And next up by Dom, I have a piece called Broken. What storm did you weather as the fever broke? What dreamscape was drenched in night sweats with parched lips parted and pleading? What struggles did we imagine before dawn? Show up to this day to enact your vision, to triumph over terrors, to keep real your promise of release. Not any day now, but on this day again and again, for no kingdom awaits in yesterday. And that's got a hashtag on the bottom, fever dream.
Oh,
Broken. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Always beautiful, Dom. Always beautiful.
And then the last one that I have by Dom is a little bit longer than the pieces he normally sends me. This one is called Bio. To stretch the truth, to embellish and adorn one that has a romance with history. In a dance with nostalgia, we tend to omit the less than pretty, the selective memory of the ashamed. He writes his transgressions in hopes of redemption. The motivation of his reveal is flawed, for there is no humility in seeking absolution, no tender mercy as offering. I confess to my captor, my ruthless God of imperfect flesh, this bold deception, where we hide in plain sight, look to the west, the mongrels bark at shadows, rabid with lust and full of mange, as the elusive freedom we long for has been buried in dreams. When words such as far and deep suggest something small and invisible, instead of describing the sea, we go blind from ever having vision.
Ooh.
I really like the theme in that about kind of being overly, what's the word? The part where he talks about writing as transgressions in hope of redemption, but the motivation is flawed. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Kind of trying to get out there ahead of a situation and give as much information as possible to be like, look, I'm open, I'm vulnerable, I'm sharing everything. That must mean I'm great, right? Like I'm embellishing here. Like I don't know what his author's motives are with that, but that's what I took out of it. Like that, where you're like, we had a conversation about this the other day, like being vulnerable almost as a way of arm's lengthening people. You know what I mean?
Yes, to test people.
So yeah,
Definitely.
beautiful work as always, Dom.
Beautiful. Who has something that they'd like to read? Do we want to check Oliver and see if we can hear Oliver? No, I can't hear you. I do not understand why, because we could hear him so well before.
I know, in the previous ones it worked just fine. Did you try switching where it's getting the audio from? I don't know if everyone's screen is the same, but in mine, in the bottom next to the little microphone button, there's a little arrow. And if you click into that, you can choose where it's getting your audio from.
All right, Oliver, that sounds good.
He's gonna
try and go through his phone.
Yeah, okay.
And hello, Anya. Welcome.
Hey.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm having a little bit of an issue, so sorry that I'm a little delayed.
You're fine. You're fine. We're having all kinds of issues tonight. So.
Oh, can you see me? Is my video? I don't think my video is on.
It's not on.
No, your video's not on.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I'm trying to figure this out.
All right. All right. So does anyone want to read while Anya's getting her camera online? Haley, you got anything? Tracy, did you bring anything tonight? Or are you still working?
Still working, Chris.
Okay. I just checking. I don't want to leave you out, you know?
Still working, girl.
So I know Oliver has pieces. Haley, what have you got something that you want to share?
I've got my flowers on the beach piece.
Yeah,
that
there's
like-
Tanya. Yay!
Yay! Oh no, let's not look at that.
You look gorgeous. You look
No,
gorgeous.
thank you.
All right, read the flowers on the beach because yeah.
Okay. So this is titled, as you obviously know, Flowers on the Beach. I left flowers on the beach today, roses to be exact. I tore off their petals and let them fall from my fingers in a trail behind me, staining the sand like crimson drops of blood, wondering if you would find them and let them lead you to where I waited. But days have passed, and the flowers are slowly starting to wither and die. And I think my heart should stop making excuses when my mind has already realized that the last time I saw you, I should have said a proper goodbye.
Oh,
Good.
I remember reading that and I loved it so much.
I know.
Thank you so much.
I know. It was, and I'm convelling over here on behalf of Wade as well, because he's not here and I know how much he loved that piece.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That is just incredible.
Beautiful.
A great follow-up to the other flower piece that you
The
got
dead flowers?
last
Yeah.
week. Yeah. So
We have that seen.
I love your flower imagery.
Well, and I
Aw,
can hear
thank
you.
Yeah. Oliver, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Mm.
Yay.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
I don't know
Yay.
where you are.
Look
I
it
don't
up.
know where you are. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. After all of that, would you like to introduce yourself and then read us something?
Yeah. My name is Oliver. On Instagram, it's Oliver Roman 3009. I do most of my things on my poems on Facebook. I have a page called I Am a Poet. So, yeah. I'll go ahead and read a piece, I suppose.
Okay.
I've been working on this one this last few days. I titled it The Definition of a Muse.
Okay.
It goes like this. At the start of foreplay, in the middle of a waltz, when it comes to the ending of a folklore, at the highest of the sopranos, in the lowest of the bass, before and after having sex, as the epitome of the definition would have it, she's a loose cannon, that muse, a comrade and a traitor, a friend and a foe, a tease and an overflow. And yet she calls me in her velvet dress. She calls me with a bow pinned in her braided hair. She calls me in her radiant tanned skin. Funny thing, she's a brat. She's full of energy. Well, she is young. She's also an actress, and she has me at the top of her fan base. She's the definition of a child, untamed. She's pure and innovative. She's pure, she's crazy, she's free-ranged. She's a calamity in stress. She's a mess in the middle of the rain. She's a God-given maiden, and she puts me to the test.
Damn.
Damn.
Damn, Rome. You got it.
That was, there's so many lines in that I was trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I was doing the same thing, like trying to catalog, but also listen. And then you're like, but I want to pay attention. And then it disappears. And you're like, no, I want to go back.
That's the perfect definition of the muse relationship, though. I
Yeah.
swear.
Yep.
You're never easy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I missed a line where I put she's 8 because I've actually been developing my poetry for 8 years now. But yeah, but yeah, no, it's interesting because everything that comes from inspiration is everything that you've gone through as a person, right? So there's, all the shit that you've done as a kid and as an adult and all through life. So there's, mistakes, there's being stupid, there's sex, there's relationships, friendships, heartbreaks, everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It took me a while to come up with that one.
I love it.
I like the idea of personifying poetry, like taking poetry and making it into a person that you're describing.
Yeah. I do that with so much shit. It's not even funny. A few months back, I was having a literal fight with poetry. I did 3 poems where it's me talking to poetry and poetry being like, excuse me, I'm the one who's doing the show. Okay, I'm the star of the show. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Nice.
Does anyone want to go next? Anyone? I've got other poets to read if you guys don't want to go. So
I have more too.
I can go.
okay, awesome.
Yay. Okay, give me one sec. I was prepared this time. I actually got like a couple of poems. I was like, I'm gonna read these today.
Awesome.
Yay, Anya!
Okay. Right, let's do this one. I scold myself enough for the both of us. A tendency I cannot quite understand. For even when the heart has shred and the scissors lay your fingertips all over, by the end, I blame myself. Yes, there is anger, but the moment is fleeting. Before long, my subconscious has taken over, and rather than standing tall with myself, I begin to sympathize with you. I understand that I am not being fair to myself. What I don't understand is why.
I feel that so deep.
So hard.
True.
I have been there. I have been there so much.
That one gets.
Yep.
Nice job, Anya. That was amazing.
Oh,
Anya
thank
really-
you.
She's been reading
That's
for
too close
years.
to home.
Huh?
You read like you've been reading for years.
I know.
But you haven't.
No,
You did so beautiful.
Well,
thank
you're
you.
natural, so there's that.
Thank you.
Okay. I've got an anonymous poet that I have 2 pieces from, who is
Ooh,
yeah.
yes, let's read it.
Always
Yes.
kind of anonymous.
Trigger warning for hotness. I'm just
Oh.
gonna
Okay.
I'm just that is really hot. When I read it, I was like, holy shit.
Okay.
So here we go. Everybody get ready to get hot. I can only think of, dream of fucking you against a wall, a cold wall, hot kisses, wet flesh, on scorching pavement, cool skin, hungry mouth, in the car, on the hood, radio blasting, in the office, on the desk, in the park, on the slide with reckless abandon, trembling thighs, spinning thoughts, burning veins, exploding blood, numbing ecstasy, breathless emotion. In my house, on my bed, soft bed, hard cock, in my mind, in your head, with my love in my life.
Ooh. You were not
That is hard.
over
I
like
told you.
Get some water.
Damn. Okay.
I need a drink in a moment.
Fine.
So Haley needed a drink too.
Okay.
Wow.
So that was one of my new favorites. And here is the second piece by the same poet who is anonymous. It's a little shorter, but equally as punchy. Not punchy, but equally as impactful.
Deep.
Deep, maybe not.
Impactful.
Impactful.
Okay.
There are sexual jokes that I could make at this point. But
No, I was
gonna do
going
it.
there. I was like, deep is maybe not the thing you want to say right now.
Sorry, I'm just gonna blank face and just say it's good.
Right.
It's just good. Gather me up and drink me right out of my skin. My blood burns for you. My veins explode for you. Gather me up and devour me until there is nothing left of me. Take me, use me, waste me. Keep me breathless and tired by your side, always by your side.
Wow.
Ooh,
I love it.
I love this poet.
Especially
love
I don't know why, but like the using the term waste me rather than like, there's so many other things you could say, but that like really,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I know. I hope to see much more from this poet
Yeah.
going forward. So
Ooh, yeah.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, does everybody need a second or a cigarette?
Yeah, I need a moment.
I'm gonna go have Did I read one more of my poet submission?
Yes. I thought I had, sorry, I thought I'd silenced my phone, but apparently I did not do that. So yes, please read one of your poets.
All right. I have 3 pieces by People's Punk Poet.
Awesome.
That is all spelled out, no underscores, periods, anything, just People's
I
Punk.
have been neglecting putting people's punk.
Punk.
I've been putting it in YouTube. I've neglected to put it all in YouTube. So I'm sorry. I'll make a list later and post it.
I'm sorry. You made me want a beer, so this is your fault. I apologize.
It's fine. Just make it count if you're going to do it, would you?
Why must you egg me on?
I mean, let it go.
Not when I'm about to read a poem, come on. All right. This first poem by People's Punk Poet is called House of Mine. The house has burned to the ground. All that's left is embers. The photographs are no more. Nothing left there to remember. The smoke spread from the darkest corner. Consumed at first one room, it did not stop just there. It had taken the whole house soon. The electricity all cut out and the smoke hid light from the windows. The boy and man tried to shout, but could not see which way to go. The house had once stood proud, invited so many guests. For a long time, no visitors had been allowed. Running rampant was the mess. The garden once had many flowers, but had long time since been tended. The clocks no longer told the hours. Hours and minutes were suspended. The blaze rises up to the sky, could be seen for miles around. Yet the locals acted like no eye could see, as if there was no sight or sound. The flames they burnt as they crackled, moving swiftly as they passed. No means by which it could be tackled. All that's left is meager ash.
Oh,
Wow.
I
That was
should have done a trigger
beautiful.
warning on that. I didn't pre-read that. I'm sorry. Sorry.
People's Punk Poet always has such a mood in the
I
way.
know. Very, very
They write.
atmospheric and
Yes,
pulls you right into it.
I really, really enjoy that poet.
And then the second piece is called Reasons to Drink. The clubs in town look like a prostitute's face. Makeup papering over the cracks, not much more than just rented space. Long sleeves to cover heroin tracks. In this city, all the roads look the same. Some with train track scars, like it's people, the only difference is the name. Dead ends don't get you too far. We dance and sing in vomit streets, pretending we don't remember, in bars where lonely men meet, each one return to sender. Talk of reality and reality, they don't quite add up. Now everybody feels like me, a never-ending cut. Underpants with shit-stained shit flowers from their mouths, just a pill or two to ease the pain, to forget all whys and hows. That's why I drink. That's why I'm drunk, to forget the stink of all that stunk.
Holy shit.
God damn.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I'm going to do a reaction on that one right
That
there.
was intense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Going along with what you were saying about like the tone or the what's the word you used before? I don't remember.
Atmospheric, a mood.
The mood that he creates, but it's very I really enjoy reading his pieces because they're very much written in the vein that they're meant to be read. They're like slam poetry. They're very spoken word adjacent. So they're fun pieces.
Spoken word adjacent.
Spoken word adjacent. I don't know. I mean, they're written pieces. I'm making them spoken word. I don't know if they were intended that way, but they definitely lend themselves to it.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
So, and then the last one is one called Fast Food. I wanted to lose weight. I decided to cut out fast food. I walked outside and was jumped. A clown, a king, and a colonel stood around with a gang of heavies. They'd once fought a turf war to make me fat. Now they teamed up to make sure I stayed that way. My head was held under gravy until I couldn't breathe. What a tasty torture tactic. They took me someplace dark. I think it was a subway, dark and dingy. I tried to resist, but they beat me to a pulp and hung me next to a cow. Now I eat fast food through a drip. Nurse, are those psychopaths still outside?
Ooh.
Oh. The ending was
That's fun.
That was different.
That was different and that was dark.
Yes, it was. I could see that playing out like a movie.
Right? Like
Oh, yeah.
the fast food, like icon, like their whatever their, what do you call it? Like Wendy's. Like,
Spokespeople?
yeah, I guess. Their mascots or whatever the case may be, like them as like gangsters trying to beat you up.
Yeah.
Like in a Terry Gilliam movie or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
Drug dealers.
Exactly. I'm getting aggressive and pointing. I'm sorry.
How dare you quit me?
How dare you quit me? Okay, I have a dilemma. I'm out of beer and I want another one. So does someone want to host for me for a minute while I go get another beer?
I can continue.
I'll read a small piece that I had.
Okay, Priyanka, you read a small piece. I'm going to get beer.
All right, just give me a minute because I'm gonna multitask with my phone. I don't know, can you still see me when I go back?
Your video is paused, but your audio is still working.
All right, so I think that's how I might have to work through because I'm all on my phone.
Yeah, that's okay. We can still hear you.
Sure how this works though. All right, so I'm gonna read this one. So it's one of my older pieces.
Mhm.
So I didn't name it as such. So I'll just go. Her anger knew no bounds. Her eyes were raging fire, while her heart was bleeding with the scars of lies. She burned everything she touched. She ruined everything that came along. She led herself to the heaven of love, hoping to find a place to dwell. But ours, she was doomed and she fell, as it was an illusion created by hell. So yeah, that was it.
Ooh,
That was good.
I feel that.
I do. I feel that. You write
Unfortunately
so
relatable.
expressively. Like I feel like I'm in your brain while I don't know. This probably doesn't make any sense, but I feel like I'm in your brain while you're writing. Like I feel so close to the words that you write. Like it's just that impact.
I think this was one of the first poems I read on your live, Chris. Wade had read it for me.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
It was.
Chris is the one
I'm still
responsible
getting
for
back
getting
at
all
it.
addicted to this way back when.
What do they call me these days? Is it the grandmother or the godmother of lives?
You're the godmother of poetry.
Not poetry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Of open mics, maybe. The grandmother.
Not the grandmother, the godmother.
Godmother.
The grandmother.
The grandpapa.
Yeah.
Oh, you are
I
the
like godmother.
godmother, not the grandmother.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else in the room want to go? Have another piece they want to read?
I'll go.
All right, go, Oliver.
All right. Let's see. Well, tell you what, I'll give you guys a choice. Would you like to hear Muse My Love or Poetry versus Poet, the one that I talked a few minutes ago?
I want to hear poetry versus poet.
Fighting poem, yes.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be interchangeable. So it's gonna be poetry speaking and then poet speaking. Okay.
Okay.
So here goes, poetry versus poet. Hello, my name is Poetry. I write metaphors from a third-party standpoint of view. I live in the rhythm of the rhyme, the existence of life. I skip on the cracks of broken hearts and sleep next to my baby, the beautiful lullaby. Hello, my name is Poet, author of the words, interpreter of inspirations, errand boy to 1,000,001 questions, boyfriend to the most well-known muse, the type that poetry doesn't abuse. Poetry. It's my pleasure and your honor to have me late by day and bright by night. Don't get me confused with that, with your club of emotions and your harem of insecurities. Poet. And if I may interrupt, the lacking job one portrays when your high comes from my experience. Poetry and that hairlot pride. Poet. Aside from the fact that now is my overthinking brain because you can't connect the simplicity of words, cruel and maternal, to all sorts of information, paternal and exclusively accessible to the internal living heart. Poetry. What about them? Are they stuck? Poet. Yes, that is why I need you. Poetry. I write what I want. Poet. Yes, but I write to my God. Poetry. Why? Muse. Why not?
Damn.
Wow.
I love that. Okay, there were a lot of really good lines in there, but the errand boy to, what was that? Errand boy to something? That was brilliant.
Errand boy to 1,000,001 questions.
Questions.
Yes.
That one was good.
I love the interaction between the two.
So good.
This may be my favorite piece of the night so far.
So great.
I've taken a liking to writing in that style, especially when I'm having problems. Coming up with something to better understand myself. I've done that in the past when I was brokenhearted. It was a conversation between me, my brain, and my heart. I'm doing that now with poetry. I do that with my emotions.
That's a great meditation. I love that.
Yeah, that's a really creative way to adapt to writer's block and the things that come from that. Like, I'm really tempted to give that a try.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think that's like a great writing prompt, you know, just kind of have a conversational piece between one person or one object and another, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might try that too.
Started a trend, Oliver.
It's great exercise, but to me, it's a lot of calling myself out.
Yeah.
So that's the way I tend to develop these pieces. It's a lot of calling myself out, and it hurts because I'm intentionally hurting myself. I'm intentionally calling myself out.
Yeah. And I think when your brain calls you out, it hurts kind of more than the other person calling you out, you know? That realization hits so harder.
I think my most famous piece is one of those where it's literally just a piece that I wrote to like exhibit all of my flaws. It's just like, this is everything I do wrong in a relationship. Here, have like a super long epic poem about what a failure I am.
Right? Cheers.
Cheers to that. I think we should all give it a try. So I actually have a piece that Priyanka sent me that she wanted me to read. So I'm going to read that piece. And then whoever wants to go next, get queued up if you've got something. So this is Rare Logolepsy, Priyanka, and it's called Happy, Not Happy. They all think life is to be happy. Man, fuck them. They're delusional. It's not always summer and May. Sometimes it's more of a rainy day. You think being happy is an art. I've kept myself apart. I think you're living a lie if you've already found happiness before you die. For happiness is a gift. Life gives you time to time. It's all how you take it and what's in your mind. I agree I'm not happy yet. I'm just more than sad. But having that said, there's a lot to explore. More is left. I don't really understand. Why is it wrong to be sad? What's wrong in being fine with that? I'm just in depression a tad. I know I'm grieving. I know I've lost feeling, but also I know that I'm still strong in believing. They say I've become a stone, have built so many walls. They say I'm too stubborn and stand strong. They're sad for me because I don't sing the happy song. Well, let me tell you all, I'm fine even when I fall. I know it's hard to call because they feel you're crippled and crawl. Don't let them get to you. They've wanted me for long, trying to make me like them, hypocrites and lame. I know I'm way better. If heartless, so be it. I know I won't screw someone up only to fill the void in me. I'm sad and I'm lonely. I might not be such a phony. At least I know I'm sad. I know I'm numb and bad. I'm not pretending to be the savior for the needy. I'm a warrior, so free. I might be bold and not so silly, so let me be. For thy shall live, not happy, but free, under the shelter of my thee.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yes.
Priyanka.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
I really like that, and that's a theme that I feel like I've toyed with a few times. I really like the way that you displayed that. Like, you know, happiness is something that comes from time to time, and it's something, you know, that we may get more of in the future, but there's nothing wrong with being where you're at right now. There's nothing innately wrong with not.
Exactly. You know, because I feel a lot of times when you're going through a sad phase, people just come to you and they're all like, oh, you know, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
We miss the old you. That's the word which I've heard a plenty of times.
Yeah.
We miss the old you. Like, this is the new me. This is who I am.
Exactly.
I really like what you did there with taking ownership of, and not just ownership of, but like pride in, I'm still strong. I'm fine with this. This isn't enough to knock me over. I can live with being not happy. I'm still me. I'm still strong. I can still go on and do big things. It's not the be all end all.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, there's a lot of things I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So just stopping there, being happy. And I think it is true. When you think you're satisfied in life and you know you've gotten everything, you just stop trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That need to learn just stops there.
Yeah.
That is actually one of my biggest fears, you know, to stop like learning and be completely happy with life.
Yeah.
Because that means you have no new opportunities coming through.
Exactly. Exactly.
Too complacent. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Well done.
Great work.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that kind of made me nervous, you know.
That's something. It's a big thing to hear, especially if it's something you struggle with personally.
Yeah, it is. But it was well done. Well done.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting me to read it.
Oh, it was perfect. You know, this is like, I think you've only read it the first time. I think so. But it feels real now when you read it, you know.
Good. Good. Who else
Thank
has?
you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything new they want to share? I've got a couple. I know Kat's got a couple. I don't know if Paul wants to read again tonight.
I've got one more poet to share, and then I have some of my own.
Okay.
But I don't know if Anya or Haley had more pieces they wanted to read.
I mean, I have a couple. I also have one from someone else that couldn't make it today.
Oh, good.
They're short pieces, so but I just figured I'd wait till other people made their rounds. I don't know who else had pieces to do, so
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so let me read a piece from Jack Jig the Poet. Let me see, he gave me a couple of pieces. Okay, so this is one that was kind of inspired by the pandemic that's going on right now. It's cute, I like it. He said, "Suddenly, I seem to have realized the value of each breath I take, each friend I have, a person to love. I understand that nothing is forever. It is all now. Thank you, life."
A beautiful thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
a moment
just-
everybody should stop and just absorb.
Gratitude.
Mhm.
Yes.
I love the idea of just, him, because a lot of the poems that I've been reading lately or hearing lately have been all negative. So I just liked his perspective where he's like, this is the time that it took me to realize to be thankful for, for every breath that I'm taking, for all the people that I know, for any person I speak to and have contact with,
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
He sent me another one, another short one. And I like this one too, because I personally relate to it. So he said, "You were born to write," she said. "No," I replied. "I was born to make a fool of myself and write poetry as my penance."
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I saw that. I just started laughing. I was like, yes, I feel like that's very relatable.
That hit me like a truck.
I want to get that tattooed on me. Like, seriously, I want that tattooed on me. That's perfect.
For
Right?
real.
And I guess, I mean, if it's okay, I can read another one of mine.
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me revert back. Where is it? Oh no. I accidentally, there you go. I found it. Never mind. Okay. I fell in love with your sadness. Something within me convinced me that I'd be able to lift you over my shoulders and show you the world from a different perspective. I believed in myself, and I believed in you. But the weight was growing heavy, and slowly, day by day, I sunk down a little further. My shoulders, they began to ache. But when I looked up, I saw a genuine smile. It was enough to convince me that I was doing the right thing. It was enough to silence the screaming in my mind as my knees began to tremble from the weight of it all. I look again, straining my neck to see your face, only to notice the corners of your lips began to fade. A little higher, I told myself. I can handle it, just a little more. My heels lifted up, but my knees buckled in, crashed onto concrete. The pain resonated up my whole being. Tears streamed down my face. It hurts, I cried. I know, you replied. Help me up, I pleaded. It's too much work, and you did this to yourself.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's a gut punch right there.
Oh,
That's good.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really good.
I feel personally attacked.
Yep.
So,
No.
Did you see my previous relationship? Is that what you wrote that about?
Right, maybe. But I don't know. I guess when I was younger, I had a tendency of going for the sad boys or the sad girls. And like anytime I saw someone upset, I felt like it was my personal duty, which I know is stupid, but I felt like it was my personal duty to like, I don't know, make them feel happier, make them feel better about themselves. And I definitely went out of my way more than I should have. And I've definitely neglected myself in more ways than one. And yeah, it bit me in the butt quite a few times. So, so I don't know. So I just felt like I guess this is a perfect opportunity to write about it.
It's the most noble of martyrdoms.
Chris,
I've been in that phase for 8 years and finally like got out of it. So I know the pain.
I'm
No
pretty sure
balance.
I have a poem that I wrote based on a conversation with Chris about this very thing. That was about like our need to like gravitate towards the broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that there's nothing inherently bad about having a caregiver type personality, but it's having the understanding of when it's a priority to take care of yourself versus somebody else is
Yeah.
really difficult.
Definitely.
I think my issue was, I mean, I've come to realize it now, but I think my issue was at the time is the fact that for some reason in my head, I was convinced that if I gave you all the love and attention that you needed, that somehow you would give it back to me without hesitation. Like I didn't realize that, you know, there are different type of people, and it's just, I mean, not that they're bad people. I mean, it's just, but just the feelings weren't mutual, so they didn't feel like they can give back the same way that I could.
Yes.
Give
Yes.
to
Yeah,
them.
I think
Does
in
that
most
make
of
sense?
these relationships, you're never on the same page.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
So-
That was a powerful piece. Thank
And
you
it's
for sharing it.
like what Paul was saying. It's,
No, thanks.
it's not the giving that's the problem.
It's all about balance.
Balance is important. There's also something that I've learned over time with a caretaker type personality is that there's that creeping need to be needed rather than actively like on a mutually beneficial level and being at the same, you know what I mean, space as someone. It's not so much about wanting, it is wanting to help. That's not ingenuine, but it is also ingratiating yourself and needing to feel needed and feel useful more so than it is to actually being in a like a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I read this somewhere. It's called like I don't know who named it, but it's called like a Prince Charming personality or a syndrome sort of thing.
Yes. Yes. It's, and what it's really is codependency.
Codependent.
And another pitfall that
I got about that right over here.
another pitfall you can run into that I've learned about is, you know, especially when you have like a more like analytical side to you as well, is you give and you give and you give, and then you start looking for reciprocity in a relationship when that shouldn't be the case. You know, it should be you doing something for somebody else as just that's what you want to do without expectation of a return in, you know, action or affection or emotion or something like that. But at some point you kind of get to that break over with yourself of, I need something that, you know, I need, you got to give back. You got to give back. And that can be just as damaging
Yeah.
and negative.
Yeah.
I think mentally somewhere we all want to feel that kind of happiness also about doing something better for our partner.
Yeah.
So I think even that makes it more important to, just
Yeah,
help them with whatever.
certainly. Certainly.
Thank you for starting such a discussion.
Yeah. What a great discussion. That piece is gonna stay with me.
Last time it was about kids. This time it's about this. You know. It's all good.
It's great. It's great. It's great. Does anybody mind if I share a piece?
Go.
Oh, go ahead.
Go. Yes, please.
I think I'm done with my other poets, so I wanted to share this one. Kat was proud of that I wrote. It was inspired by her. It's called Mine.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm gonna cry again. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It ain't a Saturday night without somebody crying.
That's right. Crying in their beer.
Happy to sacrifice myself on that.
I'm glad. Okay. Mine. I wish I could say I abhor this word the way he uses it, that I'm done with this sexually disguised patriarchy bullshit that comes from the mouth of a man who celebrates himself for marching for women and professes his love for the marginalized. I wish I could tell you I shook my head and stopped him mid-thrust to tell him that I belong to no one but myself, and that a real progressive man would never leave a woman waiting for calls that never come, dinners forgotten, the return of an I love you left hanging in the air like a balloon deflating. I wish I could speak the words that have sat so long at the back of my throat that I can never quite clear it. I'm tired of being ignored. I'm worth more than 2 hours every few months. I deserve to be acknowledged. I won't wait any longer. I wish I was my friend Kat, who has such a gift for speaking the truth of her needs, even when it costs her everything. It often leaves her with nothing to hold on to in the night, but she at least has her dignity. Me, all I can do is fight fire with fire, ruthlessly claim him with my body, and when he stares into my eyes as he comes, wrap my legs around him tighter and make sure he comprehends exactly what it means. When I bite his lip and speak the only word he seems to understand, mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm fine. God damn.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
I ain't got
Right.
no dignity though, for the record.
What's that?
I said I ain't got no dignity for the
You
record.
keep saying that, but you have all the dignity.
Okay.
Cheers again.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
are we cheering
Chris,
on?
Chris,
We're cheering. We're
don't.
cheering.
You got to drink though. You can't cheer and not drink. Come on.
Let's cheer, all of us together. Come on.
Okay, cheer. I have my energy drink. That's fine, right?
Okay. Who's going?
Whatever it is that you have in your hand, you can't cheer it and not drink it. It's like
That's
cheering
bad luck.
at the
That's over. I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't matter what it is. Water, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You
Whatever.
cheer it, you drink it.
I
All
have
right.
some pieces by username Waiting for a Breeze, and that.
Oh, good. Yeah, he was going to watch tonight. So.
Yeah, and he sent me some pieces. The username for anyone who's interested is waiting_for_a_breeze. And just a little snippet he gave me when he sent them is that these are, he doesn't really give them titles. The pictures and images are the springboard for the text, kind of poetic, but not really poems. So it's more prose. But yeah, they're little pieces of writing, so we're gonna share them.
Okay.
All right. And again, untitled, so I'm just gonna dive right into each of them. First piece. Grim fact life, passing, reaper coming, none sparing, life's ritual, present ceasing. Live, toil, work and play, earthly treasures, fruits of labor, to everything a time and season. Statues and wealth lose their merit. Rank and tenure have no say. Stripped of power on that final day, sands of time no longer failing, life cut short, now cast aside, life's gain rotting away, soon a memory quickly forgotten. Eternity's vultures ever circling, ever present, easy prey. Virility robbed, stolen away, sinews, muscles, tendons glistening, hair and skin, vital organs, life's blood gelled, no longer sustaining rigor mortis. Putrid stench of reality lingers, meager remnants, maggot fodder, now stripped clean. From dust one came and shall return, yet never considering his demise. Human connection finally severed, love unfinished, words unsaid, dreams vanished like vapor, passions quenched, unfulfilled, deep regrets. Earth, sun, stars, man and the moon, will one forget about his soul and a sense of life and meaning?
Ooh, the imagery in that is stunning.
It is, and it just kind of the whole theme of like everything falling away eventually. You know what I mean? Like, and knowing that that's going to happen at some point, and thinking through like what's left unsaid, what's left undone. Like, very, very intriguing and thought-provoking. And this one, the image that went with it, that inspired it, was by Gustav Klimt, the Kiss Aglow in Colors. This one might recognize if it's gonna focus. I don't know if it'll focus on my screen there, but it's a pretty famous Klimt painting. And again, it's untitled. I'm not sure where it actually starts, so I'm just going to go ahead and start reading from the point where it says title. The kiss aglow in colors of fine gold and yellows, life once envisioned, surpassing illusion, touches of silver, one stands in awe, thoughts of such love in two minds embedded, beyond comprehension, sharing the moment, significant meaning, dreams coming true, love unselfish, known by few, mutual honor, respect, and affection, clearly focused on the needs of the other, rendering forth no expectations. Two hearts colliding, soulful connection, spirits uniting, minds intertwined, no words spoken, yet understood, spontaneous bliss, nothing amiss, seed of a kiss, time standing still, romance budding, boldly blooming, pleasing fragrance, sensual beauty, field of flowers, perfect setting, depths of erotica, no taboo, ecstasy flowing, passions unbridled, flesh quaking, orgasmic glitter, climactic expression, purest joy, lust release, sweat dripping, freshly falling like morning dew, gentle embracing, long-lasting pleasure, finding the treasure in each other. Ooh.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Beautiful description. And there was one in there that really kind of caught me off guard, that I really really liked this imagery for orgasmic glitter. That's a phrase I've never heard before.
There's this really interesting like organic geometry to Klimt paintings. It's and like this piece in particular has this really interesting divide in of the two people, and also there's the flowers below.
Yeah.
The two people each are draped in different kind of shape patterns, but then also the flowers beneath them are also kind of a different shape and pattern as well. But there's also like that like glitteriness to their union that's really interesting. That kind of that's the thing that brings them very much together.
Yeah,
it's really a very
inspired by the.
Yeah, it describes it very, very well and very beautiful.
It's a beautiful piece. If you haven't seen it before, I know my holding it up to the screen did not work very well, but definitely worth looking at. And then I do have one more piece of prose by Waiting for a Breeze. also untitled. Quickly deferred to the asphalt of life, eroding hopes. From whence do they come? Whither they flee? Unfulfilled purpose, wasting away, gathered together yet all alone. Germination ordained, destined to grow. Ambitions now hanging in delicate balance, expectations sodden down, silent cries, a desperate plea. If perchance intervention, providence, or twist of fate, a root to take hold, seeds to rot, destiny's choice, does anything matter? What can be said of life's situations, aspirations and motives, longings and dreams, spiraling downward on winds of breeze, gravity pulling, no breaking free. Somehow, somewhere, seeds still get planted, oft times dormant through passing seasons, dry and cold, chances revived, history reborn for another day, energy to be ignited, forgotten passions, love gone cold, soul disheveled, broken spirit, idle, at wit's end, endless cycle and struggle for our survival. Embrace each moment and every trial. Let not life be swept away.
His prose is just beautiful.
It really is.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I love that line, you know, the way he's put it, rolling down in the wind of breeze.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, the way it said it, you could just picture everything that's going on in the person's mind.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's always had a good way with his words. Even for he wished me a happy birthday, but like it wasn't just a simple happy birthday. It was like this whole text, and it was all like rhyming and poetic, and I don't know, it was just really beautiful. So I just feel like anytime I speak with him, it's always poetry just kind of spills out of his mouth each and every time, you know.
And people, that's just how it be. That's how it be. It's not me. I'm not that way.
Yeah.
Some of us have to work at it.
I don't do words.
Except Paul. Paul can just not write ever.
There's people that can compose, and there's people that can just, that's their language, you know. And it's
Yeah.
two different, very different things.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's Paul, like Chris was saying, and it just makes me mad.
What
It's
I
not
do?
fair. It's
What
not
I do this
fair that you act like you're not a poet. Yeah, you don't say anything.
No, I stopped acting. I just don't know.
Speaking of, are you gonna share? I mean, I didn't hear any pieces from you today. Are you gonna share anything today?
I like that we've got her in on the bully, Paul. Intermediate.
Paint me into a damn
Because I
corner,
like your
Kara.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I could do the one that I didn't do last week. I've only written 2 pieces. I want to
Go back and read the other one.
What's that?
Go back and read the other one. Just open
Yeah.
it. We want to hear it all the time.
The first, yeah, that first one. Okay. I mean, I could do that if you want me to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If and y'all.
That's in what we're saying.
Stop. Just read.
Okay, fine.
Paul.
Peer pressure. Did it? No, it's just called the first stupid poem. Yeah, sorry. No. There we go. Okay. I'm a fractured masterpiece in an Etch-a-Sketch frame, the aluminum powder falling away as I tilt my head to view it from a new angle. And and the cycle repeats endlessly like a Sphinx's riddle tattooed on a Mobius strip of skin so raw with anger because every answer is the wrong answer. Time and again, time feels like a formless fluid fantasy faintly flickering. For fuck's sake, I keep losing the thread. My thoughts and words flee and hide away in unfamiliar cracks and crevasses. But I think maybe I've seen them before where I may not have been me, but God damn it, at least I could sleep. Oh, sleep, such a strange word that feels comforting and tranquil and soft in my mouth, but evaporates before I can taste it. It doesn't have time for me. It's only for people who dream, not for brittle husks flying through smoldering cityscapes, upon the backs of monsters with the faces of friends, on an endless hunt for a mode of light that teases some small respite from an aching void.
Yes.
And I just say, like, I love all of it. And I especially love the, like, sweet being a sweet word in your mouth, but it evaporates before you can taste it. But I love when people put things like a stutter or something like that into the way it's written and perform it that way. Like, that just
every time, it's my favorite part.
I love it.
And it, you know, Chris knows this very well. Kat's seen it too. My brain is a frustrating place where I lose a lot of words constantly. So I will get in a place where I know the word I want. I can clearly visualize the thing that it is or see the word, but I can't make the connection between my brain and my mouth to speak it. So I get in these very frustrating cycles sometimes of and thankfully I have the people that know me well and that are around me, you know, regularly have recognized this and can help me out because they know what I'm talking about, or I can at least describe the thing that I'm trying to say. I'm like, oh, that, I'm, okay, yeah, there we go. But that's that kind of pattern of disconnection between, you know, cognition and, you know, action or motor skills or what have you. But, you know, certainly between last week, the two pieces I've written, I have a lot to say about, you know, mental illness. And
yeah.
It doesn't come from the same place, but I relate very strongly to that. It's not one of my primary symptoms, but when I get in a really bad flare, they call it fibro fog, because part of the fibromyalgia issue, it does cause a similar short circuiting. It's not always word related. Sometimes it's just everything's in a cloud, and I'll get lost halfway through and just be like, that's all that I can, like, it's like something just, like you said, it evaporates, and it's beyond frustrating because you're like, I have the thoughts, I'm intelligent, I have a brain, it works. I just
I know words.
I don't know words. Yeah.
The thing that's terrifying about that sort of thing is you think, okay, I'm 42. This is how I am now. I don't want to see me at, 70. I don't want to know how my mind won't work.
Yeah.
When I get to the point where, Alzheimer's is a concern, and things like that is like.
I got you, BFAC.
I know. That's why I'm trying to surround keeping that with family and people who understand support systems. That's the important thing. Deal with.
We're going to be at the home together, and I'll be finishing your sentences for you.
Thank you.
You said you had two other pieces. Were you going to share one of those two?
What was that?
Yeah, you.
I had the one. I only have two pieces.
Yeah.
That one and the one I read last week. I could have.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said you wrote two other poems since the last time. I'm sorry.
No, but that's on his agenda to do.
Yes, it is. I have
an ongoing agenda.
I have an ongoing agenda. I have a struggle with there's the other part that's the ADHD, which makes, and the anxiety, which makes things really difficult to focus. I can focus I can focus like laser on certain things, but not on other things. And so trying to write something is very difficult. Write or read a single piece is very difficult for me. So that's
why. Are you okay? I'm sorry. What's the sound?
I'm so sorry. Gus just totally.
I was just going to say.
And bit the holy shit out of my calf.
What I was going to say was Gus or Scout.
gosh. Wow.
You just took a swipe at me. It's like Tiger King over here.
Scout's usually the jerk.
I know, he did this to me.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm not flipping you off. See, now I'm, yeah, okay. So speaking of tigers, I haven't heard anything from Kat tonight.
Okay. I have to read my own. I'm gonna, let me see, because I saved some, because I'm working on a little project. And so maybe I'll read some of those. Should I read the revised antithesis?
Yes.
Okay. That I need to pull up on my computer because I didn't update how it is on Instagram. So hold on. Can I have it open at the same time?
And I am aware that there are people who have no sleep on their schedules yet, who may need to drop off. So if you guys need to drop off at any point, we still have a few poems left to read. So
yeah,
feel free to like just gracefully exit the room if you need to go pee.
Especially while I'm reading, that's fine. Like extra allowed. Okay, so this is a poem that I wrote quite a while back. It's one of my favorites of my own, and it is recently revised. It wasn't going to be good anyway, so that's why I held it in.
Okay.
This one is called Antithesis. Parallel universes park themselves in our subconscious thoughts as we run lost in mazes of our own making. Obsessive tendrils trail heavenwards from upside down willow trees with wistful leaves that meander upwards, blocking out the sun's rays such that its light only reaches us once daily. If we're lucky enough that clouds don't cover it when directly overhead it passes during our noontime recitations of pack rat painted memories. And I sew scars into my skin, pressing the past into myself over and over and over again. Constellations on the map of my flesh, a path back out of this self-planted prison. Easily I'm distracted by faint gusts of wind, feminine breath planting secrets on my neck, behind my ears for when I'm finally ready to hear the truth. That men write women as the moon because they believe themselves the sun, counter to us, blessedly born amidst darkness that we may be fated ever to reflect them. And women write ourselves into the night sky because we've fallen for it. Or perhaps we've learned the secret of hiding in plain sight, giving off a softer, less boastful light, making possible the vision without the threat of blindness. But monthly we bleed black holes into existence, and I allow mine to seep into the soil, sprouting this very labyrinth that is navigated better with nocturnal eyes, and the cycle, unending, saps me of my energy, for I remain confounded by this dichotomy that flows from the core of my being. Thank you.
Girl, that piece.
That piece.
That piece.
Thank you.
And believe themselves the sun.
Nice job, Kat. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Isn't that amazing?
Very.
I love that line. Men believe that you're the sun. He just brings on so much at a time.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
All right. And then I'm going to read one that is, I know to be one of Chris's favorites of mine. This one is called Internal Apparitions. There are confidences, I'm going to start that over. There are confidences I hide away, keeping from myself that which I feel I can't be trusted with, conveniently forgetting the neglect I've inflicted, like the way I still enjoy a cigarette, more when I sneak it, where no one can see, and brush my teeth for no one in particular's benefit immediately upon returning inside with sheepishly tender steps. I wonder if I'll ever stop returning to teenage me, stop re-inhabiting those memories that play hazy as if through an old TV screen, looking in on myself as something small and yet dangerous, a malnourished dog flinching at loud noises and baring its teeth at all who try to show it sympathy. I hide her, telling myself it's in benevolence to keep her safe, but really it's just to keep her the same, keep her at all and at any cost, because I know that if I were a healthier and less selfish being, I'd be willing to let her go, to allow us both some measure of healing. I'd stop cherishing this self-destructive streak, harboring this fugitive that is the former iteration of me, but I've always liked outcasts and angry women like cigarettes, and I have rotting floorboards in the house of my chest, a sickly sort of soft spot for secrets that don't need to be kept.
Ooh,
Again,
girl.
I love it. I love it. I love that you're unearthing these for your project.
Thank you. Yeah, going back and finding some of my favorites. And then I've got one more short one, but it's another like woman power kind of one of my favorite ones. This is called Surgeon General Forgot to Warn Me.
I love Kat's titles.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm weird about titles. So I find myself peeling ingredient labels from my flesh compulsively in this world that weighs the traumas of women in the way they do cuts of red meat, for men to decide if the risk of heart disease increasing from each indulgence is worth it. And the meat that bites back, kills the man, is the greatest of all known evils, and I want to show them true evil, but those who feast on innocent blood cast no conscience in mirrors backed by silver, and so I remain in shadows, peeling. Oh, thank you.
So good. So good. Do y'all mind if I read a short one and then another one?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I love it when you read, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone else have, who else has pieces they still want to read tonight?
I think both Haley and Oliver read 2 each, so.
And
I read one so far.
Oh, you only read one?
Yeah. All I read was my Flowers on the Beach one.
Okay. All right. Do y'all want to go first with your next ones?
Why don't we do Chris, Haley, Anya, and then since Anya was asking about my other one, I could read my other one.
Okay, you can close this out.
No, that's pressure. Okay, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to read, this is a shorter one, but Kat and I worked on this together on a Zoom when we were doing some writing together. This is called 3 Rooms, 3 Years, 3-Piece Suit. It's a list poem. I don't usually do this type of thing, but my list poem. 3 years, 3 rooms, a 3-piece suit, 2 names, a handful of pretty dresses, 1,386 texts, 6 pictures, 5 phone calls, 32 marks on my bedpost, 1 tattoo, 78 nights of sleep lost, 102 shots of whiskey, 1 book, 300 copies sold, $215 in background checks, 4 phone numbers, 2 addresses, 1 of us in love, 0 promises. That's all there ever was.
Mic drop.
How have that? You did not read this one to me.
It's new.
It's new. Well done. That was
Thank
amazing.
you.
That was beautiful. Holy shit.
Oh.
Damn.
Damn,
That's a
it's
hell of a
nice.
collab.
Yeah, we sat in a Zoom room and we both wrote a piece because we were in the mood for writing. So
That hits all of the points very well.
thank you. Paul knows the
The one
story.
that caught my
Pat knows
attention
the
was the
story, so
78 nights without sleep. Like,
Yeah.
what?
over 3 years. Yeah, probably more than that.
Probably, but
Probably.
Definitely.
So this other one, so Tracy, I'm glad you're still here. our friend, a mutual friend of ours, challenged me to write a poem about 6 weeks ago about what an orgasm feels like.
I have not heard this one yet, and I can't wait.
And I told her that she has to write one too, and she said she is, but it's going to rhyme. So I know it's going to be like the Dr. Seuss orgasm story. But I finally, after 6 weeks of trying to write this poem, decided that I was going to sit down and write it, and so I named it "Come Undone."
Wait, say that again.
Come Undone.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm done.
All right. Little electric needles cover my skin in goose flesh, nipples tightening, sensitized to an onslaught of licks and bites, bearing the brunt of the oncoming sensory overload. A quickening in my belly, structures meant for pleasure, awake and greedy for the way your hands pluck the strings of me. Music made of harmonic moans and decadent sighs serenading the room. Ions collide, and a restless energy not unlike a summer thunderstorm builds as my legs move restlessly against you, pressing together to relieve the boneless ache rising from the pink, soft shell that lays between them. It grows unbearable, the searing feeling of you moving deep within me, deep breaths coaxing out tremors that radiate from where we are joined until breathing ceases to come easily, and all I'm capable of are harsh prayers, and the sound of your name over and over as I die a little, heart skipping beats as pleasure erases the boundary of where my body begins and heaven ends. Thought is impossible. There is only this, the primitive cry of a lover to her mate, and release at last, a rolling wave that soaks his shores and leaves me blind for a moment to anything but how close to death this act of living can be.
There you go. That's it.
That
That's
was
it.
my description.
You did it.
It
You
was
done
like,
did it.
That
I got a tip of the hat from Oliver. Thank you. Thank you.
nice.
There was a lot of thinking that went into it, though. It was
I
like,
know. Yeah, there was.
is it self-stimulated? Is it a group thing?
A group.
Kind of
Or is it
different-
more ephemeral or physical or
Yeah. So what is it all about? And so I had to really think about it, and it took me some time, but I think I did okay.
I think you did pretty
I think so.
great.
That gave me my werewolf fantasy.
it's something that can so very easily become be incredibly trite and
Yeah.
meh. Something you can write off and whatever.
So you did it really well and pulled you into it in a way that, like you said, it's not trite and it's not exploitative either. You know what I
Not
mean?
pornographic.
It's not pornographic. I mean, it's definitely hot, but not pornographic. And I feel like
Right.
in a very literary way.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, it's more of like the classic way.
I was inspired by Pornhub, so thanks.
Yeah, there you
More
go.
like a classic way of it.
It is like in the Venn diagram, it is where like Pornhub and Lord Byron intersect.
True.
That's spectacular. Oh my God, that is awesome. All right, let's move on.
Poetry.
Okay, so who's going next? Is Haley going next?
I signed Haley the next one.
You assigned Haley the next one?
She's
Oh, she just
running
ran
off.
Oh, she came back.
I think
Sorry, my mom brought me a
Right.
cinnamon roll.
Oh, again?
Oh,
Yes, again,
Wow. Like, tell her next time she needs to make enough for all of us.
yes.
right? Okay, so this is a short, kind of new piece. It's titled Willow Moon.
Okay.
Just on the edge of a silent town, we met first as strangers, then as lovers, under the light of a willow moon, where lips touched softly and promises were sewn into our hearts as we planned the future of our lives together.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I get such a sense of like there is a purity to the way that you write. It's not a naive purity. It's just so perfectly, God, I can't think of the word. It's
an
lyrical.
unironic wistfulness and longing
Yes.
for something that's very fundamental in
Yes.
relationship between two people.
Yes. It takes me back to a different time. It's really wonderful.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
It's
Right.
not cynical, and
It's not cynical.
and there's so much
I'm here
poetry
for this
that's
as well.
like
You don't
that
need any
says
more of it. You got
those
enough
kind
of
of
it.
things. That's very cynical, and it's
Do you have another one?
sorry.
You've got one more if you want to read another one.
Do you want me to read another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh. Let's read another short one that a lot of people have liked. This one is called Arc of Latitude.
Okay.
No matter how many times I trace the arc of latitude with one hand or follow the line of longitude with the other, my hands still end up meeting in the same place where I first fell for you.
Damn.
Oh my gosh, I love that one.
I know.
I remember reading it and being like, oh, my heart.
Yes.
As somebody that has worked in civil engineering for a very long time, that like geolocation kind of thing kind of really hits an interesting chord.
Nerd.
I don't care.
All
All
right.
right, guys, I'm gonna leave. My phone is at 1%. It needs to be like completely off in order to actually charge. So, thanks for having me.
For coming.
Thank you
For everything.
Bye.
See you next week.
We love having you.
Bye.
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 All right, Anya, do you have another one that you'd like to read?
Yeah, sure. I can't decide between one or
Yay!
I can't decide between poem number 1 or 2, so you guys can decide for me.
Okay.
Anyone you read is going to be great. I already know that.
Oh, stop.
Most definitely.
All right, I will go. You know what? This one still needs work. I'll go with this one. It's short. Anxiety convinced itself that it was my best friend. In any possible opportunity, it presents itself, waving its arms, shouting my name, a smile of such joy as it runs full speed towards me and jumps into my arms. The weight is too heavy, my balance off key, and I fall each and every time.
Yes, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
It's like hitting all those sore spots, but doing it beautifully. It's
I
That was
know.
the
great.
right one.
It's great. I thank you for it, but it hurts a little bit.
You nailed
No.
She nails it every time.
Yep.
She nails it every time.
Every time.
All right, Paul, take us home.
Okay, well, like, following on a theme. I've got two monitors going on here, and this is incredibly frustrating. There we go. Okay. Again, back into everything I write is about mental illness, and like literally in my Google Docs, one poem is stupid poem 1 and one poem is stupid poem 2. So there we go.
Oh my gosh.
You would come up with
I
better
don't
titles.
believe it. But anyway.
I will help you with your titles, Paul. It's such that.
I think you mean to say awesome poem number 1, and I'm making
Right.
poem number
Right.
2.
Okay, yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna like it's okay.
I don't have room to talk. Like self-deprecation is my favorite thing, but I don't like it when other people do it.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I'm almost a human being. I might look a bit like one, but I am mostly hollow inside. What should be a home to emotions and connections and desires and love is really just a void of Lovecraftian nothing that should drive me mad. But I've long since lost the capacity and care for reality. My head is a rotting rat's nest of ancient and bare wires strung hopelessly and aimlessly across a desolate landscape to an expansive panel board that is switches upon switches upon switches upon switches upon switches, which trip off and on and off and on and off again, yet do little more than wait to be tripped again and again. I wear an uncomfortable skin stretched over an uneasy frame that would rather be somewhere and something and someone else. I'm an aching amalgam of alcohol and Adderall and apathy.
That poem hurts my heart every time.
It hurts mine too, but it's so good.
It's so good. So
Oh,
good.
great.
It's so good.
It is so
My
good.
cat just walked into my room and threw up. That's,
Oh.
no.
Best poem ever.
That is the best poem. Totally. All right, you guys.
That's gonna be the title of my next poem.
It should be. It should be.
Should be.
Thank you to everybody who read tonight and submitted poetry to be read. And thank you guys for joining us. And thank you to everybody on YouTube who has watched or will watch. I will post the link for this in my story so that people can, and in my bio, so that people can go watch the great stuff that we did tonight. And again, I thank everybody for trusting this group with their work and for trusting us with their words. And I hope that everybody has an absolutely spectacular rest of their weekend.
Yeah, you too, guys. Bye.
Great.
You too, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.